This is Michael Kowalski, writer and performer of Mothman, True Story, and you are listening to the Unbelievers Podcast. I know you wouldn't like it.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything, you know? Just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's
and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby, we covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
1997, radio host Art Bell receives a fax from a mysterious time traveler calling himself Single 7. What followed was one of the most compelling and intriguing interviews ever broadcast on Coast to Coast AM. Following this one-time appearance, time traveler Single 7 was never heard from again. Until now. Tonight, the man from the year 2063 has returned and is now breaking his over 2 decades of radio silence right here on the Unbelievers Podcast. When or where has he been for these many years? Did his time travel group finally catch up with him? And what about that alien race called the Mim who want to take over our planet? We'll find out now as we sit down to ask the tough questions and finally get to the bottom of the mystery with the man himself. It's time for an interview with time traveler Single 7. Right here on the program, where you continue to learn to unlearn everything you know! Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me as always is my co-host, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hi.
And my co-host, Jude Prestia.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, our soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey.
If you are a time traveler, and only if you are a time traveler.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah. Hey, what's up,
How you
everyone?
doing?
So, yeah, very appropriate clip as we are interviewing a time traveler. Not just a time traveler, a very famous time traveler, Single 7. The time traveler is going to be on our program.
Yes.
My God.
So cool.
Oh.
My God.
How did we get so lucky? How does this happen?
I'm going to speak in an acronym like they do in the future. OMG.
OMG.
It is very exciting, and it's hard to believe. We did an episode, of course, about Single 7, the time traveler, but he has not been heard on a podcast or radio show in almost, 22, 23 years, and he's going to come on this show and tell the truth, or tell his story, the Single 7 future tale. You're going to get it all right here. I can't wait. Let's do it now. Here it is. Interview with Single 7.
Where I'm going, I don't know. I just know I'm gonna be alone. I don't wanna have that I'm breathing. I don't wanna see the things I'm seeing. Everything is gonna be new. I gotta be focused and forget about you. I'm gonna try to stay alive and being back to being the time. Everything is gonna be fine. Everything is gonna be fine. I'm going to space. I don't have time to waste. I'm going to space.
In April of 1997, beloved host of the overnight radio show Coast to Coast AM, Art Bell, welcomed a very intriguing guest to his program, a time traveler from the year 2063, going by the name Single 7. It's been over 23 years since he has appeared on the airwaves, but now he is back. Single 7, welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to get into your story now. It's a real honor to have you. let's get into it, because as I'm sure you're aware, your appearance on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM is now legendary, and I'm going to give a brief recap of the time travel story that you told to millions of people on overnight radio. And if any new listeners, you want to hear us go in depth into it, listen to episode 34. But here's the recap, and Single 7, feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong. So you, Single 7, aka Jonathan, are from the year 2063. You are part of a time travel group, or a Trav-T group, and your specialty is agriculture, and you work as a paleo-ag tech. And the goal of your Trav-T group is to travel to the past and work to slowly warm the Earth so that the MIM, or gray aliens, will not want to be on the planet anymore because they prefer cooler temperatures, thus saving the human race from the wrath of the MIM. And now you have gone rogue from your Trav-T group and are now on the run from both time travelers and the MIM. Is that a good Cliff Notes, Single?
Yes, except for I'm in horrible danger.
No. So this is my first question for you. Now, this might be my most important question of the evening. Are you from the future, and is any of this true?
No, not at all. It's all a big pile.
Oh, big pile. Dang. I really deep didn't want it to
smelly pile. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess I can't call you Single 7 or Jonathan, but what should we call you?
Rick. Rick is my name.
All right. Well,
okay. Well, hey, yeah. Welcome, Rick. This is great.
Now, welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast, Rick, the man behind the Single 7, and so I gotta say, your story, the whole time travel thing, and getting on Art Bell, you had the perfect trifecta of topics that Art Bell would definitely want to believe in: time travel, aliens, and you even threw the weather in there. How did this work?
Right.
Did you know Art Bell so much that you knew this story would just catch his eye?
I had been trying to start a business, and overnight I worked, and I had been listening to him for a few years. So yes, I wrote a fax that had the weather, because I knew he liked that, and I knew he liked time travel, and I knew, and he had a guest on that night, and when he read my fax, he kicked the guest right off, and he called me.
So good.
And told me, hey, this is great. I want you to come on the radio. And I thought I'd be on there for about 30 minutes, and it turned out to be 3 hours.
So that it did happen that fast, that as soon as the fax came in, you were on that very night?
Right, yeah, in about 15 minutes.
Remember,
Art Bell, and I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Art Bell, but Art Bell, he broadcast out of a trailer on his own. He didn't have all screeners or anything. He had an old trailer in Pahrump, Nevada, and so when he read the fax, he called me right up. Well, and it surprised me.
He didn't call it Fast Fax for nothing, right? That's why it was called the Fast Fax. So get on there fast.
That was
the Fast Blast. There you go. Oh, is that George?
It was pre-Fast Blast. So is this about the time in '97? Is that when you first started listening to Coast to Coast?
No, I had been listening to him from about 1995. I remember the first episode. The first episode was about, it had David Icke, and it was about lizard people, and cults and trying to fool people have always intrigued me. So I always would listen to it, thinking, God, these people believe all this stuff that they're saying. And so I had made a bet with my friend saying, if I ever got the platform to do it, I could make people believe. Just if I spoke really quickly, used 49-cent words, and used a little bit of information, I could make it believe.
Well, you did a good job at that.
You did it so great that it is actually surreal talking to you, because I've listened to that episode and we've done our own episode on it so many times. I wanted to ask, as far as yours, was there any calls that you heard on Coast to Coast that inspired this, like Madman Markham? Had you been aware of him?
Well, of course, and you pointed that out. I was on the Madman Markham episode. I had called him up, and some guy on the internet who probably had no life and listened to tons of Art Bell episodes, posted that on YouTube a couple of years ago. And he posted the Rick from Mississippi, because at the time I was on vacation in Mississippi, and then Rick, the time traveler, and he figured it out, but no one believes him. If you look on the they're like,
if they only knew.
Yeah, single 7. He predicted 9/11, and I didn't predict anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll get into it later. There are some things that you unwittingly did predict, but I wanted to ask you about actually being on the air. So this happened so fast that you're on. Did you ever speak to Art Bell outside of the interview that everyone else heard?
Yes, on every commercial break. Oh. He would come on and encourage me. Oh, you got to do this, and you got to talk about sex in the next segment.
Really?
That was his idea?
Oh my God.
He gave me notes.
That's incredible.
When I did talk about sex,
I'm so glad to know that.
He kind of didn't like, he kind of embarrassed him or something, so.
Well, yeah, because anytime people make sexual references, even Jose Escamilla did, and he always acts a little kind of taken aback by it. And even with yours, it does too. I think I actually have a clip of when you guys want to talk about when things got sexy with Single 7.
I love this. Yeah.
Okay, so Rob, this is going to be clip 3, because one of the things you talk about in it is neural augmentation. It's a subject you touch on. You talk about how basically you're telling the world of 1997 how you have the internet now, but in my time in 2063, people just stick the internet in their brain. And Art asked you if rock and roll was a thing in the future, and you immediately veer this conversation away from that, and you make it sexy by saying that we plug the internet in our brains, and I don't know. We'll play the next clip. What else do we do?
Indeed, it causes one's mind to wobble. West of the Rockies,
your big entertainment in our culture is switching partners. You know, a man can feel what a woman feels.
Oh, brother. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Jonathan.
So you're basically saying in the future with neural augmentations, men can have sex with men, but it'll feel like a woman. And you were ahead of the curve. There's a show called Black Mirror, and they did an episode called Striking Vipers, right, Rob? A video game, where you could have sex with 2 guys but one could be a woman. You called something.
Yeah, well, I really didn't call it. It was a short. It was. I used to be in the cyberpunk back then. The novels and stuff, and it was a cyberpunk novel called Voice of the Whirlwind or something, where they talked about that quite often. So I just threw that in because, hey, I just read the cyberpunk novel like the week before or something.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I just threw that in.
Okay, so maybe the Black Mirror creators were a fan of that
Also,
as well, or maybe they were a fan of your story. Who's to say? You know.
Hey, can I tell you something kind of interesting? Did you ever watch Fringe?
Sure. Yeah, I did watch some Fringe.
The last year of Fringe, they used a lot of things that I talked about, and they even used the same years.
Oh,
and
really?
So,
Really?
I wonder if somebody had listened to the Single 7 episode.
Probably. Think about all the things you've inspired, without realizing it, because all these people listen, and they have time to go back in the archives and hear it at a different point, or time to think about it.
Art is in the archives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was one thing that tripped me up. I made a mistake. So I had to try to say something, and it didn't work. And so I'm lucky he kind of went away from that real quick.
You did, yeah. I have the clip of it. We use it on a soundboard. So we like when Art Bell talks about the archives. I think there's a soundboard clip in there of him saying that, telling Art Bell that he's in the future archives.
Well, you are in archives.
Yeah.
Oh,
You are in the archives.
I forgot we had that clip.
Yeah, you're in the archives because I had corrected him on something that he would say all the time on the show, and I corrected him because he couldn't remember it.
Well, you knew discontinuity.
I know it. Play the next clip. It's this. You catch him and you tell him, you finish his sentence for him.
Discontinuity. Discontinuity.
He's like,
yes. That was it.
Art catches you, and he says,
"Oh,
you are a listener."
And I went, "Oh, geez, I just screwed that up." So I just tried to say something stupid.
Yeah, later on you say like you're a real radio buff that you listen to him here, but no one else. But you also have the archive in the past, and he doesn't give play with that. I love that he just wanted to roll with your story so much.
Well, right, and he knew it wasn't true. I mean, he didn't actually say it during the commercial breaks, but he would say, "Hey, we got him there.
You can tell he was in on it.
You got to keep going. You got to keep on with this." Wow,
it's good. It's good radio drama.
So far, this makes sense.
And that's the other thing. That's one of the things that really made me lose credibility with Michio Kaku, because there's a part in there where he says, "Michio Kaku just sent me a text," and he says, "This guy knows what he's talking about." And I was like, "Oh my God."
I love that. I do love that.
Tachyon rays or whatever.
Oh God, I'm talking about tachyons and plasma.
Tachyon plasma device. Yeah, I remember that.
Plasma device, something I got from Star Trek or something, and this guy is, he knows what he's talking about. What?
Oh man, you could get disowned by Michio now. We better not let him know. Yeah, we can take him down with that.
And as soon as he said that, I went, well, Michio Kaku, I just, and he does so many of those like ancient alien things and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He's all over that.
Yeah, of course he wouldn't mind jumping on. It's like you took an Omni magazine and just highlighted a few like words. Like, this will get him. This will be fine.
Actually, that's what I did that because earlier that afternoon I had been reading Scientific American and a National Geographic, and the National Geographic had talked about plants and stuff, and then Scientific American was talking about the bootstrap theory on time travel. And so I was like,
you mentioned that, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, hey man, this will be cool. So,
yeah, you basically, you break it down so easily. Like, well, in my time, time is like a string, when all the minutes are little strings going around the string. And I'm listening going, man, this guy, they're teaching him right in the future. Like, man.
Yeah, like I said, it was ended up sounding really credible. Just you picked the right details to go with, and the right amount of background, and how you're like, it's boring to a lot of people, but I find it fascinating. And just little things like that really help sell it.
Well, right, and I didn't also. I know when you're telling a big lie that you can't know everything. So when you said something about crop circles, I was like, well, I've never heard about that. Yeah.
Area 51 as well.
They grow in a
Brilliant.
circle?
Area 51. Yeah. You weren't familiar with Area 51.
And then,
if we're gonna get onto that, if we're gonna get onto this train, you do my favorite thing that all future people do, where I'm the future person and I don't understand your strange old times. Rob, play clip 1 for me, because I want to hear you do that to Art Bell, who I'm not even sure if he caught this or not.
So far, I've had a network of friends who know other people who send me off to other people, and I live as a transient among them.
Kind of like an underground railroad sort of deal.
Underground railroad.
Well, it's an old
subway
phrase, yeah.
Just brilliant.
Right. So whenever you're doing this, and trust me, I've done it quite a few times in my life on radio shows. Whenever you're doing it, you can't know everything. So it's better. It leads credibility to you when you say something that you should know, and you go, "Oh, well, what does that mean?" And because people like to explain things to other people, and so it makes you more credible.
Yeah, you'd be like, they didn't really teach about slavery in the 2050s when this guy was going to school.
No, the texts were all lost.
Racism is over.
You do the same thing with Area 51 and also crop circles, too. The crop circles was great because you were an agricultural guy. So you spent almost the last minute going, I think this is one more clip I might have, Rob. Play clip 5. The crop circles bit was amazing.
All right, let me ask you one more question about your field. This is something you should know about. We have something called crop circles, which are designs that appear to be very specific, intricate designs in crops, in fields of crops. It's occurring worldwide. Is it a weather phenomenon of some sort, or is it something we have yet to understand?
In fields of crops, you get circles.
Circles?
Round circles.
Yes.
Is this something the way they grow in this time frame? I don't know anything of circular growth.
So good.
I just had to act dumb. And actually, I don't know if you have these recordings, but actually, after I got off the air, because I had to get off the air, I was working that night. And after I got off the air, he was talking. He was continuing to take phone calls, and he was talking to people, and he said, "Well," and for some reason that lent legitimacy to the whole conversation, is because I didn't know what crop circles were, and he says it.
It's not what you know, it's what you don't know, especially if you're from the future. See, other future people have tried it and not so well. What do you call extraterrestrials?
Oh, God, yeah.
It's a classic one from a time travel open line call.
What's the term you use? Extraterrestrials?
What do you guys call it? ETs?
Because, Russ, I think you were only able to find, like an hour or so of it?
I can only find your appearance chopped down without commercials, and once you go, that's all I have. But there's some moments, too. I love when you inspire all these other time travelers to try to call in. Like, Art gets a fax from someone named Hunter12, who was a hunter looking for you. Was that also from you? Did you send that in as part of this?
No, I did not. In fact, he even says it's from a different machine. And I had sent, see, what I had done is, I was working at Microsoft at the time, and this is just real quick, and I met a guy who owned a bagel shop. So I made a deal with him that I could rent the bagel shop at night, and I made bagels to sell back to Microsoft, and I was making pretty good business out of it. And so the header on the fax, I know, said Mikey's Brooklyn Bagels right across it. So I know he knew, and no, I didn't send, and I didn't have any friends calling in saying, because there's somebody I can remember calling in, and they were an agent from the future or something, and I was like, no,
there was a detective on your trail.
There is. Play clip 2. Yeah, it's another favorite moment when this other time traveler called in, and you just roundly dismiss him.
All right, fine. First time caller line, you are on the air with Jonathan. Hi. Hello?
Hello?
I am. This is Todd calling.
You from where?
Hello?
Actually, I'm calling from the future.
You claim to be a time traveler.
Right. Well, I'm on with this. This is a long story here. I'm gonna try to make this short. See, I'm calling from an agency from the future. Okay, we're tracking down this fellow, Single 7.
All right. Well, this is somebody who claims to be tracking you down, Jonathan.
Excuse me, hello?
Yes.
I love that. And yeah, you just go back and that's the end of the clip. You're just like, excuse me, what? Who is this guy?
Yeah, I'm calling to get the Single 7. I was like, I don't want to deal with that dude.
Can you just give us, real quick, give us an excuse me, hello? I just want to hear that real quick.
Excuse me, hello? Hello? I couldn't hear him. He had forgot to press a button or something on his.
Oh, so you couldn't hear the caller. So you were just like, hello? Yeah, is there anybody there?
Oh, that was.
I could hear him talking, but I was like, hello, and then finally I could hear him hit the button, and then I could hear the guy going.
So you actually could hear
him. It made it sound like you were perturbed that he was calling, kind of the way that you answered.
Yeah, Art kind of gives you the lowdown. He's like, all right, so this guy just says he's after you, Single, and you're like, what? What's going on? I couldn't hear it. It's like, I'll be on the show. I'm like, I didn't hear the clip.
This guy's a nut, man. Get him off. But also, I need to tell you real quick, do you know how I got the name Single 7?
No.
The name,
please tell
It's a
us.
gun. Is it from a gun? Is it from a gun?
No. I had a recipe book that said a single serving, 7 cups of sugar. I remember it, and that's where I got that.
Oh God, that's
And
amazing.
And then I said that, it's my rank, and because I was the 7th person, but I was the only paleo ag tech, I think I called myself.
Yes,
And,
that was it.
I wanted to ask you.
And mim just comes from the word minimal.
Dude, I loved Mim.
Oh,
Mim.
That's such a nice detail.
Mim. That gave a whole thing because you're like, I don't know. You guys call them grays or something. I don't know. In the future, they're the Mim, the gray aliens. So part of his story, of course, was the gray aliens wanted to take over the Earth, but only if it was cold. So they had to make the world. You had to come back in time to screw up and kill millions of people to make the world hot enough so the aliens won't kill us.
He's a dick, man. He's killing all those people. Yeah.
Well, but then you were the good guy because you went rogue and you didn't want to kill people. You wanted to now. I don't know what your plan was after you'd gone rogue. And maybe he did think you were at a bagel shop. He probably thought you were the Hulk. You're like on the lam doing gigs in each town. He probably wasn't surprised you were at a bagel shop.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. There was a guy that came along about a year later named John Teeter.
Oh yes,
And
John
he
Titter.
took over-
Yes, of course.
He kind of took over Single Seven's deal with. I started talking about tacos and stuff. Anyway,
I wanted to ask that you were do you think you were a direct influence on John Teeter? Because I think 100% you are. A lot of people call you a John Teeter. They think you were the one of the first to come forward.
His name, John Titter.
He kind of took over and he started making money off of it. And that's the thing. I never wanted to make money off of it. I never wanted to fool. I like fooling people, but I don't like carrying it on too seriously.
Like just for funsies.
It's just a goof.
Yeah, I know. But about it, and it was fun at first, but I don't know if you know this, but about a year after I did that interview, Art Bell disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to get into that. I want to talk about what happened a few months after that appearance. On October 13th, 1998, Art Bell announced on air that he was going to be stepping down from the show, and then 2 days later, in a letter posted on a chat board, Art Bell wrote, quote, "Single 7 told me he had gone back to the future and researched me and said there had been a terrible tragedy that happened to Ramona and me. I lived, but Ramona did not." The letter says Single 7 first contacted Bell about a year prior to the event in 1998 and predicted several events that would happen. It did not specify what they were. Is this what really happened? Because this is still in an LA Times article.
It was the LA Times. It was a New York Post. It made it onto CBS Good Morning America Morning America, CBS one. The Drudge Report talked about it. Keith Olbermann talked about it. I can't remember how many other people, and it became this big blow up deal. And I was amazed. My father kept telling me, "You got to make some money off of this. You got to make some money." And
That's what my dad would say too. Totally. It's like, dude, you're Single 7.
And I had started, and I wrote almost a whole book that'll never see the light of day. It was called Single 7 Time Rogue.
Ooh, I want to read it.
That's a good
Time
title.
Rogue 1.
If you need an audio cast,
Yeah, let's do it, man. If you ever want that thing to see the light of day, we can help you with that.
It's ultimate lies. It's like the men are actually us from the future and all kinds of crazy.
I like it. I like where the story's
piquing my
going.
interest
It actually
here.
lines up with other things that we've heard, so it works.
Right, and
they have an underground railroad system in the future, like a subway. Yeah, the crops you have to grow in circles to trap them.
Right, but I felt really bad because the Art Bell thing. I don't know if you know what actually happened to him.
Well, Ramona.
No, what was the real deal? Was he just using you as a buffer, as why he was stepping down to kind of just keep it more of a?
I'm sure he didn't write that because it was kind of horrible. his son had been molested by one of his teachers.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
And these two guys that run some Christian radio station on shortwave, they got a hold of, and they hated Art Bell, and they got a hold of some police records. And fortunately or unfortunately, his son was named Art Bell as well. And so they started reporting that Art Bell was molesting children. And he was told by his lawyer to leave, and he left. It wasn't more than a year that he left, but yeah, that's what happened.
Wait, that's before he went to the Philippines.
Way before. This was a break in the late 90s.
Right.
And this is a very very dark chapter in Art Bell's life when this all went on. He very very, and I guess he knew if anyone could I don't know, take the buffer for it. Single seven's fine. No one knows. No one's gonna go after you, Rick.
Maybe, I don't know.
If
I did the interview. That was it with me. I didn't write anything else. I didn't try to contact him again. Yeah, because
that was even better, because it's like John Teeter never really spoke. He just posted stuff. At least you came on, you did your thing. You quote unquote had to go to work, but really you were just being chased down by the Mims.
You're chased down by Hunter 12.
Trav T. And you got to look back. Trav T is so bad. No,
so many acronyms.
Okay, that's
the acronyms. I forgot about
the acronyms. Okay,
totally forgot about that.
You said that in your future, time, people spoke in acronyms so much that you almost couldn't understand. Like, we wouldn't be able to understand you, but you never said any. Were you prepared to do any kind of future speak if Art pressed the issue? Like, what would that even sound like?
Well, that was the things like the Trav T group or the Paleo Ag Tech. Those type of things I just put as, hey, those are, and that's close enough.
Those are my acronyms. But we use acronyms for everything.
Right.
Yeah, we literally live in that world. Where acronyms are a lot of our language.
I didn't even think about him asking anything like, hey, can you say hello? And I would probably just make something up.
Hell, Bill. Thanks for being on Coast to Coast.
Art was actually great at improv. That was like one of the things that was really amazing about him, is he was such a great improver and such a good yes-ender. And I think doing something like that is almost like against that sort of religion. It's sort of against when you're playing that side, when you're trying to improv with somebody and really make something into a story. I think that's something Art was able to do there with you really well.
All right, and it worked really well that night. It really did. Even with the callers, there was a couple callers that concerned me. I mean, I don't think they're on the internet or anything, because it came later after I got off. And like there was an old lady who was scared, and that kind of. But there's a lot of nutty people out there, and I just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to any episode of Coast to Coast, if an old lady could get scared at a lot of stuff that's on there,
right.
So
there's old ladies that just want to be scared.
I was on Coast to Coast probably 4 times.
Really?
One there was a ghost that would sit at the end of my bed and speak backwards and say "Ishembo." I had taken.
Was that on a Ghost to Ghost episode, perhaps?
He used to run an episode called Ghost to Ghost.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Yes. So this can be found. We got to find this for Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on there anywhere. I've looked and I haven't seen it. I can't find it. I talked about 45 minutes at that time.
Do you know what year?
I'm trying to remember. It would probably be 1998, maybe 1999.
Okay. All right. So just a little bit after.
You did call it.
And I talked about
I've called out to. There's an actual archive. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on, Rick.
Right, and I talk about the Ishembo man, if that helps you. That's what I'm talking about all the time.
That sounds familiar.
Can you give us a little summation of what that was about?
Well, I had gone on my computer. You know how they have you can record something you say and then play it backwards?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I had gone on the computer and I said, worship me, worship me. That
Nice.
came out. He jumped up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You're good at this. You do a lot of levels.
Which sounded kind of ominous anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
Both. And I said, I talk about how he would jump up and perch on the edge of my bed at night. And
Yeah, that's super creepy just to visualize.
Whisper it to me, Isham.
And
I'm creeped out.
if we're
right
all
now.
going to
It's
be
pretty
real
good.
honest, it's guys like you. I mean, of course, Art was a great genius, great broadcaster, but it is guys like you, true or not, that really made that show. It influenced so many people, and especially time travel stories. Man, all that John Teeter stuff comes to me. All they did was flip some numbers around and make the story a little differently and a more like family spun, but it is the same thing.
If you could find, there was a guy I used to call up, and he was some Jesus freak.
Oh,
and
J.C. Webster.
Hilarious, man. What?
Oh, yes.
J.C. Webster.
Was
Yeah.
that? Was
We
that
got some clips of
he was
JC, yeah.
hilarious.
He's like,
Every
how
time he came on, I
dare you?
was laughing. Yeah. Oh, so you know Art quite better than I do, yeah.
The third guy's 10-star general in the war against media pornography.
That guy?
Yes, of course. I've literally impersonated him on other people's radio shows to I'm trying to keep it alive, and people have done it to me.
You.
He's such a good actor.
You're gonna go to hell. I would just laugh.
Yeah, but always the boiling pits of sewage.com.
Boiling pits of sewage at yahoo.com.
Yeah, I think about 4 years ago I sent an email to boilingpitsofsewage@yahoo.com. I still haven't gotten a response.
Did you? Oh, that's a shame.
There was a guy who supposedly flying an airplane over Area 51. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I think it's called The Frantic Caller. That's another real classic. I'm going to say it, man. I don't know how much attention you get. In my heart, and hopefully to our listeners, I put you up there with those calls. Whether the Area 51 caller was real or not, it doesn't matter. It's memorable and beloved, and I consider the same with you. Now, you've come forward. I don't know if the Area 51 caller ever did.
Yeah, I don't think think too many people would come forward because I don't know if they believe they're on, and they're trying to make money. Everybody on Art Bell always went later on to try to make money. You know, hey, I got this book about, John Teeter and I don't know, David Icky or Ike or.
Yeah, he's pretty icky. He is pretty icky. You're right, though.
And you guys should be the ones that like bust this stuff open, like the Amazing Randy or something. I mean, people believe there's, lizard people. I can't believe it. The Earth is flat. What the hell's wrong with people? The QAnon crap, what?
Yeah.
I've seen some of your stuff being referred to as, well, the way he talked about the Earth and his horrors, I think he might have been saying the Earth was flat. Like, people have attributed a little bit of that to yours, too. And I've listened to you, of course, your interview many times, and you mentioned something about being on a horizontal plane. I guess that was enough for some people, that people were like, oh, they didn't quite understand. He's like, I think he said it was a flat Earth, too, and because he's from the future, he knows.
Oh, no, it was the space. Wasn't I talking about space or something?
Yeah, you were talking about parsecs. I was like, this dude's dropped. You talked about, Earth's parsec. In our parsec, I was like, parsec?
That's Star
this guy's
Wars,
talking about
right?
parsecs?
Yeah, he's doing the Kessel Run. I think you had said that, like, the universe was a flat table and the Earth was a bowl on the table?
Yes, and that's actually what I was trying to explain was Einstein's theory.
Okay.
I can't remember it now. Damn, where the space around us is like a bowl.
Okay.
And it's actual theory. I didn't explain it very well, but it is now.
Well, you're an agriculture guy. That's not really your thing. You're more plants.
And that's why I did that. So in case somebody asked me,
You said I'm a farmer. At one point, you said I'm a farmer and I was like, oh well, this farmer knows his stuff.
Well, I kind of was at that time. I was living up on a mountain in Washington State, and I was raising all kinds of chickens and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
But yeah, purposely said that it was going to be a farm. That way, if somebody asked me real technical questions, I could just say, "Oh no, I was a farmer, man. I kind of know how it works." But
I'm out there looking for radishes.
I want to tea guy.
I want to make sure this corn can be grown in the hot future. So I need you guys as present corn, and maybe it grows in a circle. You're taking notes.
Yeah, that was
crop
a good detail.
in a circle.
Yep, there you go. But yeah, that's why I did it that way. Is so just in case somebody. And I've been really. I thank you guys a lot because I've been trying to kill off Single 7 for years. I've been trying to find a platform so I can talk about them and kill them off.
Oh, I'm so happy you chose here. But don't think of it as killing off Single 7. Think of it as now Rick is out there. Now we know who Rick is.
Yeah, Single 7 just went back. Single 7 just time traveled back to where he came from.
And now you're getting some credit for this amazing, fabulous story that you've come up with. It was so. I mean, it really does sound like a really valid premise.
Yeah, but I think you're the one who said that his voice irritates me. Oh my God,
it was. I think it was in a way that where it sounded like you were searching for details or something. I was like, okay, there was something about that was tipping me off.
I was trying to keep it monotone because I figured that's the way someone from the future would talk. I don't know.
Yeah, see there.
You're sitting there.
Again.
Nailed it. Every aspect.
He's got his silver jumpsuit on. He's sitting in a bagel shop.
In a way, it was a compliment, kind of.
Right. Yeah. And I got my things are done and everything. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay. Yeah. The monotony that probably is what would have set me onto that path, thinking like, I don't know, this sounds like it's a character at this point, but either way, like those details are just
because you guys have something that a lot of people don't have anymore, and that's the ability of critical thinking. And so you knew right away.
Well, damn, thank you, Rick.
It was a bunch of crap. and it was fun, but it's crap. But a lot of people don't have that ability anymore, and so they fall victim to Single 7s and
right.
I don't know, the Dude and all that stuff, and it's unfortunate, but
I really appreciate that for sure.
I try to walk that line of being the critical mind, but also even knowing now that your story is fake, I still kind of want to believe a little bit of it. I'm like, well, the meme might be a thing. Maybe he learned it in a dream.
I would love to believe. What I could tell you is everything I'm telling you now is a huge lie.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
You just mimed me.
See, it's 2020. No one knows what to expect. No one expected Single 7-1 was coming back. 2, especially on our podcast.
Right?
Yeah.
And coming forward, and yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're tricking us all. One thing I have to play is, because I don't know how much longer you're going to be here, because you did that sexy talk earlier about, but that wasn't the only one about neural augmentation and sexy stuff. I know you wanted to hear this, so here you are again, making Coast to Coast AM a little sexier.
I would think in your time or any time, neural augmentation, as you described it, would be extremely controversial because, in effect, that allows cyber sex with anybody.
And correct, and many people all at once, too, if you can imagine climaxing all at once, and that's a big game as well.
So that's a pretty big moral...
That's more for the younger people, and you have to remember that I'm 32.
And so you're past all that, huh?
Well, not past it. I do like to indulge every now and then, but you have to keep upgrading those augmentations, and some of the fashions that they have around the augmentations are...
Okay, so you're basically saying that there's orgies where everyone tries to climax at the same time online.
Yeah.
Right.
I love
it. Yeah. I don't know where I got that from. The neural augmentation from a novel, but I don't know where I got that from. That was just something that I had made up on the spot. And
But is your mind, you're being like, well, I'm time travel. I'm from 2063. Art Bell told me I got to start getting this thing sexy. What's the sexiest future thing? I don't know. A bunch of people having an orgy and they kind of climax at the same time. How does that even work? And they're like, oh, what do you get some kind of bonus? Is it like Tetris when everyone does it at once
like,
and you get a screen blanks extra?
Bonus. You cleared the screen.
Like 8 people finish, yeah. Oh, yeah. Way to smut up Coast to Coast.
how geeky are you guys? I mean, do you watch?
Pretty.
Oh, really? This is great.
And Comic-Cons and all that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Rob hosts a Star Wars podcast.
Okay, no one ever caught the year 2063. No one ever did.
Oh. Maybe we're not geeky enough. What is the reference?
From the when you said that you were reading the cyberpunk one, was it from that?
That's the year Zephyr Cochrane invented.
Oh my God! Invented warp drive. Oh. Yes, from First Contact. Why did I not think of it?
or it was from the original Star Trek series. There was a Zephyr Cochrane episode on that.
So was that after the Third World War? Like, if you were asked that, would you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, I need a Third World War. I need the eugenics wars. You know, with
the for con. Yeah.
See, now me and Russ are more versed on Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm more of a Star Trek guy than Star Wars.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said Parsec, and I was like, I'm on.
You said Tachyon, and I said, I'm on.
There you go.
Thankfully,
Jude got you. That's why Jude's
you on
here.
the Star Trek realm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you did a great job of dismissing things in the present. Because they try to bring up Bill Clinton, and you again go, who? And you're like, Bill Clinton, and you're right. Like, no one really talks about anything from the Clinton thing now, so it wouldn't make any sense for it.
It would have been 16 times. Yeah, it would have been 83 years from that time until the time I had left. You know, it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a huge affinity for Michael Crichton, and he wrote a book called Timeline. And in that novel, the kids couldn't remember the history, and they went back in history, but they couldn't remember. And I always thought that was just really cool.
Yeah, and the Y2K thing also is a great part of your episode. Yeah. That the way you reacted to Y2K, I think, helps sell the whole story a little bit.
I said something. I said a mock depression.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you said it was a mock depression, that people thought it was a lot of hoopla about something happening, but you were right, and that also helped you because you were right about it, that it was a bunch of just media coverage and nothing happened, and that was another thing where you're like, well, ding, he got that right.
No, I knew nothing was going to happen because my father had been a COBOL programmer back in the 60s and shit, and he told me there's nothing going to happen.
And you were working at Microsoft, you said.
Yeah, at the time I was writing WYSIWYGs, which is a job that they no longer have, I'm sure.
Wow. So you already knew you had an edge on that a little bit when it came to the Y2K thing. You had heard about that and you knew that was going to be not really something to worry about.
Right. I knew nothing was going to happen. I just, because of my father, and I trust him, and he was an electrical engineer, and I trust him. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
He said, because I kept trying to tell him, because he had just retired. And I kept trying to tell him, hey, you can make a lot of money. They're trying to get people to reprogram all the COBOL, all the old programming. He said, nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to go through that. So.
What are you talking about? I got to go talk to Art Bell and pretend I'm a future man.
No, he thought that, he listened to that because I had taped it, of course,
Yeah.
And he listened to it and thought it was just funny as hell. He thought it was a great show,
That's cool. That's cool, man.
It really is. They ask about religion in the future at one point, and they're talking about Christianity. And you say, well, once they found the Ark of the Covenant, they figured out that Jesus was the same thing, and people just shrugged and gave up Christianity. I was like, oh.
Because Art Bell always talked about the Ark of the Covenant, but he closed that one down real quick.
He's like, oh, shit, it actually is in Ethiopia.
He didn't want angry people calling.
So you picked your spots, because one person asked you about the pyramids, and they're like, what's the significance? You're like, what? They're a bunch of stones in the shape of a pyramid? Like, no, but what's the purpose? You're like, oh, I think there was some death cults in the early 2000s. I was going, what? Wait. It's like you picked your weird spots to make it believable enough.
I don't remember saying that. I don't remember a lot of those phone calls because I was trying at that point. Yeah, at that point I was trying to get out of there. I was trying.
Hunter 12 is at my door, Art. I gotta go.
And he kept going. An ad come on. No, you gotta stay 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes. And every time the ad, 30 more minutes. Come on, man. This is a good radio. My phones are lighting up. You gotta stay. And I was like, oh, okay, all right.
How long were you on the phone? How long were you on the phone total? Do you know?
I think it was 3 hours or 3 hours and 30 minutes, somewhere around there.
Wow. That's so...
It was a long time that...
Can't even imagine.
I thought I'd be on there for like 15 minutes. I thought when he called and asked, if I wanted to be on there for a little bit, I thought it would be like a segment, and then he'd go to something else. Because he had already kicked that... He had a boring guest. He was boring. And I don't remember... All I remember is the guy was talking about alternate America or something,
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
Like if the South won, like what?
Yeah. This had something to do with American Indians and something, and he had written a book, and he was trying to promote it, and he talked like this, and so
oh boy,
I about kicked him off, put me on, and then a year later, and. There was a rock group in Mississippi that named themselves Single 7 after.
Oh no
really? A rock group, though.
But rock doesn't exist in 2063.
Hold on, it exists on nostalgia channels, Jude. They have rock and roll. Single 7 listens to nostalgia radio.
What did I say about rock and roll?
You said I've heard it on nostalgia radio. Oh, one person, they wasted their call to go, is baseball still around? You're like, yeah, baseball is still around. Like, oh, thank God. And then he hung up. Like, okay.
I can go to sleep now, thank God.
Do people still make apple pie? You're like, no. Oh.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that because I just don't remember any of those calls. Like I said, I was really trying to get out of there by that point.
Yeah, you didn't realize what you were getting yourself into. But, man, what a great...
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, I didn't. And I'm glad that nobody knew who I was because there's a lot of nuts. Man, you read some of those Single 7 comments on, and I'm sure even though I've come on your program and outed myself, there's still going to be people saying, no, that's not really him.
He's covering it up now.
I can guarantee you that there will be some YouTube comments saying that you're not the real Single 7.
Rick, as soon as we spoke... Rick, as soon as we spoke, your voice is unmistakable, and you can't fake that inflection. Of course, this is, actually him. I want to ask the reaction initially. You said you did this almost as a bet with a friend, but you said your father also knew, so people in your life knew that you did this, right?
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah.
That's
because
awesome. That's
I
great.
went around saying, hey, look what I did. Look what I did. I always did that.
Check it out.
You'd have to.
One time,
I wouldn't be able to keep that to myself.
Have any of you ever lived in Seattle or?
No, been there once.
I have not.
Okay, there's this really cool store called Archie McVie's. I'm not trying to plug them, but and they sell these really huge balloons that are about like 6 feet across and just really huge. And so, like one evening, me and my friend filled those up with helium and put blinking LED lights in there, and that made the news like crazy. people, it was swishing all around and going up and down. It was a UFO, and they just kind of floated away. And then after we did it, we went, "Oh shit! Well, I hope an airplane don't hit that or something."
Yeah,
that's how. And like, have you ever heard of Toy MB?
No.
That kind of sounds familiar.
Okay, you could look it up. It's an old thing, and they find these little tiles in roads and stuff, and it just says Toynbee on it. And we did a couple of those, and it's just crap I used to like to do.
You like to play jokes.
Yeah.
You got a sense of humor. You get bored. You want to do something. I'm there. I like when we first spoke. Yeah, I kind of got into this initially and got a little bravery. It was because I started calling Coast to Coast and talking to George Norrie. And once you do it a few times, now I couldn't imagine doing your story, just sending a fax and then being on national radio for 3 hours like that.
I don't think George Norrie would do something like that because his is all planned. He's got call screens.
I was about to ask if you've ever called
He's gotta eat
George
his
Norrie, but I guess
little
that's
Hot
my answer
Pockets.
right there.
His pizza rolls.
His pizza rolls, yeah.
He comes on. I don't like. I mean, I don't really like the way he does his.
It's an entirely different show.
You're not alone.
And look, I want the people listening this. You could have easily gone and outed yourself on actual Coast to Coast AM, and George Norrie might have been like, golly, wow. You actually came to some people who appreciate you, so I want the people listening to realize, Single 7 outed himself here on Unbelievers Podcast.
Actually, I did write an email to George Norrie trying to do that, but I never heard anything back.
Oh.
And that's a crime.
He's big timing you.
See, well, that's the thing. That he's not Art Bell. Art Bell would have jumped on it if, in a different circumstance, if somebody had something to come
Did you
forward
try
with. I'm
faxing
sure.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fast blast. There you go.
Yeah, well, he knows how to miss opportunities is what they do now.
And I want everyone to let Coast to Coast know what a missed opportunity it was. While George Norrie's talking about Mask for 4 hours or something, and how they're useless.
You know, a man can feel what a woman feels. Oh, brother.
Oh, brother.
That just cracks me up every time I hear him go, oh, brother. Let's get off of this subject.
That's what I'm saying. Art pulled
was
off
magic, man.
Art was being very clutching his pearls when you talk sexy stuff. But to know that he was going, hey, talk about some sexy stuff.
Sex it up.
I'm a boring sounding future man. How am I supposed to talk sexy? I don't know. Sex it up. That's a great insight into what was going on.
Especially when you come up with, well, we all plug our minds together and have sex, like as a group.
Whoa, come on, man.
Group orgasm, exactly.
I thought they had 3 boobs in the future. Don't do there.
Hey, what's this? It's stinky. I don't know. Anyway,
a man can feel like a woman in my time. And you're like, whoa, Ramona, close the shop.
Yeah.
We're going to the future.
The parallels between Black Mirror and some of the stuff you say is very, very, very amazing. And it's very similar.
I don't think I've seen Black Mirror. I'm trying. What does it come on? Showtime? HBO?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, dude. If you're a cyberpunk guy, you got to watch it.
Yeah, I have Netflix.
Yeah, it's an episode called Striking Vipers, where it's basically 2 guys play a game, and it becomes exactly what you said, where roll switch, things happen. I gotta say, man, I'm so happy. I'd love to have you on again sometime, maybe in some kind of different role too. Stay out there, keep us posted. But do you have anything else you want to say about being on Coast to Coast before we go?
No, I have. The only thing I wish that you guys would do and keep on doing it is exposing stupid things like Bigfoot and just the ridiculous things that people believe in, and try to get them not to believe in it. Try to get them to think a little bit critical thinking, to know that it's a bunch of horse shit and it just needs to stop.
Yeah, we'll get them to unbelieve. We'll get them to unbelieve.
That's right.
We'll unbelieve.
All those people who give us you heard it. You heard it here. All right. Of course, we're believers, but we got to call the bullshit when we see it, and sometimes the bullshit finds us and exposes itself to us. As you can see here, we don't even. Yeah,
I expose myself to you. I'm sorry about that.
I appreciate it. I believe me. And we all have our neural augmentations in. This is how we're recording this episode tonight. It's actually great. And we're going to do much like we did, much like you talked about. Let's all try to finish at the same time. All right?
All right.
And
go.
Oh, there we go. Mission accomplished.
Dude, we got the bonus.
All right, thank you so much.
the bowl that I remember. Anyway, so.
Oh, God.
Yes, hopefully everybody finished into a bowl like we all just did.
Well, thank you so much, and we have to have you back again. And that's it. Single 7. All right, Rick. We'll talk again soon, buddy. Thanks.
Single 7 out. Bye-bye.
Classical gas. That was the music Art Bell played when he played his famous That's Incredible to Me. That was, of course, when Single 7 was there. Man,
Yeah.
what I'm still kind of blown away. What an amazing experience to be able to talk to Single 7, aka Jonathan, aka Rick. Drea, what did you think?
What a treat. I mean, just like the bombshells that he was dropping. This was just a really awesome chance to get a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's a good to see where this guy was coming from, who he was, what his whole point was, all the weird sci-fi he was into, that he played into. Jude, what did you think of it?
Dude, I loved every second of it. I even loved you opening that up with like classical gas, because you know how people will be like, oh, like gassing someone up is kind of like a way of saying that you're like fucking with them.
Yeah,
like classical gas is like a great way. Like maybe Art was sending us some signal.
I think he was.
Classic.
Play the Incredible to Me, as you will hear it in the background when Art is saying this about Single 7.
So far, this one comes up incredible to me.
I love it so much, man.
One of my favorite sound clips.
It like took on a whole personality of its own with Art on top of it, you know?
It really did.
It's an Art Bell classic gas, and that's what this whole thing was. As I mentioned, sometimes it's a bummer to learn that something that might be great and unbelievable isn't true, but it also gives you a little peace of mind to go, all right, I was right to be skeptical. This guy was...
It's a great peek behind the curtain. It's a great little glimpse into what actually goes on with, you know, behind the scenes with Art Bell. And I think that's something that it's kind of a mystery, and it's great to learn about it, you know?
Oh, we got to get Mel next. Mel's next. We're going to talk to Mel.
Oh, man.
That'd be
Give
so
us a
cool.
contact.
I want one of those
find it.
dimes.
Wait.
I want that belt buckle.
Mel as in, of course.
I'm not no sheep guy, but I could pick up a sheep.
That Mel.
Of course.
That's
Hell
the
yeah,
Mel.
that Mel.
There's a whole other side story about like dimes that have Eisenhower on them from a different time period or whatever.
There is, and there's also Laura Eisenhower we need to talk about. There's a lot of unexplored territory.
You're blowing my mind, dude. Laura Eisenhower too.
Okay, yes, we'll get to it. But Single 7, I just want to say thank you, Single 7, Jonathan, Rick, of course, Rick, our guy. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll find some way to work Rick into coming on again, because it was a lot of fun having him on and hearing this whole story. Amazing stuff. And we've gone a little long. We're going to do the voicemail next week, the voicemail bag, the regular mailbag. Give us a call, 469-420-0114. But now we got to get into everyone's third favorite segment, poll results. And this week's poll, what festival do you want to attend? And the choices are the UFO Fest, the Collard Greens Fest, the Paranormal Fest, the Sausage Fest, or other. So I'm going to ask you, Drea Mora, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
Dude, Sausage Fest.
Of course she wants to go to a sausage
Come on.
fest.
I think everybody wants to go to the sausage fest.
What about you, Jude?
Come on.
I'm either UFO or paranormal, but I mean, I could definitely slurp down some of that sausage.
You want that sausage? All right, you going sausage? What about you, Rob?
I mean, this week has been enough of a sausage fest. It's been, what is it, 4? Just five guys and one girl.
What
This is a sausage.
Rob,
This
what
is
are
a
you
real
talking
sausage
about?
fest.
We're talking about sausages here. Get your mind out of the gutter, please.
I'm just saying, I've already been to one. I've never been to a collard green festival, so I'd love to go there and try some.
Oh my God, have you eaten
tasty
collard greens?
Well,
Yeah,
Rob,
they're okay.
Rob, must have put his neural enhancer in.
Oh,
because
son of a bitch.
Congratulations, tied for first with the UFO Fest, the Collard Greens Fest.
No. Nobody wants to go to the
Why
sausage
don't people
fest.
like sausage?
No one wants the
Discontinue.
sausage.
Agreed.
No, I have
All right,
grown
Jude,
up
you
in
and
the
I, we're
South.
going to the sausage fest.
Yeah, no.
Screw this.
Well, let's see where else
All right,
we might
Drea, fortunately,
go.
the Sausage Fest takes place in the state that we're in currently.
Fantastic.
Of course, there are others. What festivals would you want to go to? A cryptid-themed chili cook-off would slap. Call it Bigfoot Bowl. Sign the Slan. That's not bad.
That's good. I'm down.
A cryptid cook-off Bigfoot Bowl? I'm down for it. What do you think?
Yes.
Do you have any bowls?
Yeah, I got an alternate bowl, so I don't have to hear that. I can hear Tom Vrilek talking about bowls. We had someone just drew a wiener, and that doesn't count. What festival would you want to go to? Poll results, more like bowl results. That's Okey. Signed Sad Squatch. Thank you, Sad Squatch. Getting in early with everyone talking bowls.
We went to this room. There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into the bowl.
Harley Warren has just sullied all of poll results with this. Everything is bowls, but that's
Okay.
All right, thank you, Sad Squatch. What festival would you want to go to? The Virginia versus Flying Rods Rap Battle Festival.
Whoa.
Signed Green Finhawk. Man, I want to go there too.
Yeah.
I'll say something like this, because you know what side I'm on.
So you don't have any videos of people swallowing rods?
No, not yet.
All right. Thank you, Green Finhawk. What festival would you want to go to? Last Sausage Festival, they squirted a sticky liquid on me. Made $1,000 that day. Signed Boner Yogurt. Thank you, Boner Yogurt.
My old friend.
Oh, it's pretty gross.
Thank you for being gross. What? Yeah, we got to ask
Thank you for being so gross.
What festival would you want to attend? The festival of a floating lantern. You're not getting away from me. What happened? Signed, you guessed it, Unbeliever Carol.
Love it, Carol.
She's going to the festival of.
That's a floating lantern. You're not getting away from me.
I know she was also in the McDonald's drive-thru today.
Yeah, getting those spicy nuggets, and when she got it, they tasted so good that she said,
What happened?
They were great. Thank you, Unbeliever Carol. What festival would you want to attend? Sausage Festival. Signed Phil Schneider. Being adamant there.
Okay, all right.
See, you guys need to pay some respect.
Okay.
You know when Phil Schneider's at the Sausage Festival, he's gonna...
You need to pick up your mouth.
And eat some
That's what
sausage.
he does.
Hell
He
yeah.
needs the sausage, of course.
Get that protein.
Read a
What
recipe.
what festival would you want to attend? There was this festival, and in this festival, there was this bowl. I was supposed to, ejaculate into
Son
the
of
bowl. Harley Warren, of course, getting it in there, getting it in with everyone
we went
else
to this
now.
room. There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into
I'm
the bowl.
surprised he didn't call it a festival. Just saying.
Oh.
Don't give him any ideas. He's
I'm
out.
sorry.
How dare
sorry.
you, Drea?
What festival would you want to attend? Did I make it on the show this week? Signed Kosher Leviathan. Yes, you have.
Yes, you did.
Yay.
I've been seeing for weeks. Somebody's been trying to get on polls and they're not there. It's not. We're reading them all. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, there you are, Kosher Leviathan. You're in the lead. What festival would you want to attend? Unidentified flying object. Identify yourself. Signed, Voodoo. Oh, a little Turner Clay. I like that one. Oh, man, he nailed it. Yeah.
That was
Great one,
good.
Voodoo. Oh, that was awesome. What festival would you want to attend? Sausage Fest is the obvious answer, but I'd rather go to a clam fest. Signed, Mothman Mother. I don't know if we got anything for that, but I like that Mothman Mother. What festival would you want to attend?
I don't like seafood.
The Floating Lantern Festival. So many lanterns. They can't all possibly get away from me.
Wait, another one?
Signed.
Wait,
signed,
what?
Signed Squid Head. Oh, Squid Head.
That's a floating lantern.
Squid
You're not getting away from me.
And thank you, new poll result sign-off guy. His name is...
Well, this is Squidhead. He's from Star Wars. And
Thank you, Squid
That's
Head. Very
almost hard to
good.
believe that no one has been Squid Head before.
I know, that's a great one. What paranormal, what festival would you want to attend? Who's going to Glenda's huge Bush Fest? Because guess what? I'm sold. Signed the Wombat Preservationist. Great one, Wombat, because...
Guess what? I'm sold.
Yeah, I forgot this was Glenda Bush. Maybe he'll be,
Here is Sasquatch peeking out from behind a bush.
Glenda Bush. Thank you. Thank you, Wombat Preservationist. What festival would you want to attend? I want to attend the Ejaculation Festival in Harley Warren's ass bowl. Holy God.
Oh,
man.
my God.
Sign the Virginia Veteran. Wow.
Ass bowl?
God damn.
Virginia Veteran, thank you for your service. Oh, man, what's he doing to Harley Warren now? Oh, my God.
We went to this room. There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into the bowl.
Yeah, my God. Thank you, Virginia Veteran, for your service. What festival would you want to attend? Alabama Bigfoot Sausage Fest, a novella narrated by Lolita Young. Side pants filler. Come on, Alabama Bigfoot Sausage Fest. That could be a book. Thank you very much.
I'm finding Bigfoot, bitches.
That's right.
There it is.
Thanks so much to our boy.
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
That was a great one, Pants Filler. And finally, what festival would you want to attend? Frankly, I'm down for any festival where I can see a Bigfoot peeking out from behind Glenda's bush. Why not lie about that? Signed, Blue Box UFO. All right, what's he doing behind Glenda's what?
Here is Sasquatch peeking out from behind a bush.
Thank you so much.
And then, of course, he hit us with the classic one at the end. We got to give it to him.
Oh, true.
Why would I lie about something like that?
He wouldn't. That's
Yeah,
Blue
why
Box
would you?
UFO. Blue Box UFO, man, he's been just dominating these polls lately. I'm actually going to let all three of you guys...
Also, it's his birthday.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
man.
birthday,
Blue
Taylor,
Box UFO.
aka Blue Box UFO. Happy birthday, buddy. That's not gonna don't try to sway poll results. He's already won twice recently.
You ain't getting no birthday present this week. That's not
That was your
happening.
birthday present.
From
Sorry.
I gave him a personal shout
out.
I gave him a personal little thing. But I'm gonna leave it up to you three to fight it out. These are the ones for this week. A crypto-themed chili cook-off would slap. Call it Bigfoot Bowls on the slan. You had someone drew a wiener. You had Sasquatch with poll results more like bowl results. That's Okey. You had Green Finhawk with the Virginia versus Flying Rods Rap Battle Festival. I like that one. You had Boner Yogurt with Last Sausage Festival. They squirted a sticky liquid on me. Made $1,000 that day. You had Unbeliever Carol.
That one's got to be the leader right now, I'd say, probably.
You had Unbeliever Carol with the Festival of, a floating lantern. You're not getting away from me. What will happen? You had Phil Schneider with Sausage Festival. You had Harley Warren with There Was This Festival, and we know where that goes, is a bowl. We had Kosher Leviathan. Did I make it on the show? Yeah! You had Voodoo with Unidentified Flying Object. Identify yourself. You had Mothman Mother with Sausage Fest is the obvious answer, but I'd rather go to a clam fest. We had Squid Head. Glad to have Squid Head with the Floating Lantern Festival. So many lanterns. They can't all possibly get away from me. You had the Wombat Preservationist who's going to Glenda's huge Bush Fest, because guess what? I'm sold. We had a Virginia Veteran with I want to attend the Ejaculation Festival in Harley Warren's Ass Bowl. We had Pants Filler with Alabama Bigfoot Sasquatch Fest, a novella narrated by Lolita Young. And finally, we had Blue Box UFO. Frankly, I'm down for any festival where I can see a Bigfoot peeking out from behind Glenda's bush. Why to lie about that? I'm going to leave it up to all three. But first, Jude, Prestia, who do you think won this week's poll results?
Can we read Squid Heads? Because I think I might like
you
Squid Heads.
Squid Head?
Yeah.
Squid Head came in with the Floating Lantern Festival. So many lanterns, they can't possibly all get away from me.
I think that's where I'm at in my life. I think I'm in Squid Head territory. That's where I am.
All right. Jude's got Squid Head. How about you, Drea? Who do you like?
You know, like this journey in my life right now is leading me toward the Floating Lantern Festival as well. That's where my heart's at.
Oh, wow. Well, Rob, now we got two for Squid Head. Who do you like, Rob?
What was the one that made us all laugh that I said?
Boner Yogurts. He made $1,000 that day.
Yes, I think that one was pretty funny.
That one was really good.
Awesome. He went to the sausage festival and got squirted.
We love
on.
you, Boner Yogurt.
That's pretty funny.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, Rob. You won the main, but you lost the others. Because congratulations. Squid Head with the Floating Lantern Festival. So many lanterns, they can't all possibly get away from me. Congratulations, you just won this week's poll results. Oh man, now we've come to the end of the program. What a fun one it was. Thank you so much, Single 7, aka Jonathan, aka Rick, for coming on the show. Drea, Mora, do you have anything you'd like to say or plug?
Yeah, I'm going to keep on with this trend of plugging my other podcast, Spirits and Spirits. We can be found on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, all of that. Spirits and Spirits Pod on Instagram and at Ghost Drinkers on Twitter.
Check it out. I can't wait to come back and do Holzer My Beer. I promise
that's
I will
gonna
do
be
that.
Fun.
That's going to happen. How about you, Jude? Anything to say or plug?
I would like a new job, and we have a new dog. And I love growing plants and stuff. So, like, we're about to enter, broccoli, cauliflower season. So I know, like, Tanukiyu's Revenge. I would like some positive wavelengths from you. Hopefully you're listening, because I know you grow a lot of shit.
He's going to grow it in a circle. That's
I'm going to grow it in a circle.
All right, Jude plugs his dog. Cool.
How about you, Rob?
I always plug my dog.
What about you, Rob? Anything to say or plug?
Check out my other podcast that just started, Baby Yoda's Escape Pod. If you're into Star Wars, if you're into The Mandalorian, you can hear me and Russ talk some nerd Star Wars talk about that stuff, and really not hold back when it comes to being nerds and talking about Star Wars. So check that out, Baby Yoda's Escape Pod, everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. And also check out our Twitch. We're making our triumphant return to Twitch this weekend on Friday. Yes. Twitch.tv/The Unbelievers Podcast. I don't know what we're doing yet, but we're going to do some fun stuff, probably watch some videos. Who knows? Maybe we'll play a game. Maybe we'll play a couple games. Who knows? But you need to tune in to find out. And I think we're like 3 subscribers away from 100. So if you haven't subscribed to us yet or followed us on Twitch, please go to twitch.tv/The Unbelievers Podcast and follow us.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. Go check it out. Friday night, we're going to do the Twitch stream is coming back. We might play Goatman. We might watch videos, whatever we're in the mood for. The Unbelievers Podcast hosts today were Drea, Mora, Jude, Prestia, and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/Unbelievers Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Unbelievers Pod and Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. Check out our merch store at cafepress.com/Unbelievers Podcast. And thank you to our patrons, David Egelov, Pam Z, JT Spranklin, Vic Voss, Robert Groom, Little BB, Dr. Hortega, Tyler Ventura, Adam Dvorak, Corrupted Mask, Michael Field, Weary Axel, Carol Valley, Manny, MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hitt, Raymond Well, Todd X, Christopher Panici, The Moon, The Judgy Moon, Mike Henry, Bryce Quarter Pounder Jr., Dawn Bright, Shannon Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Mark Braun, Donna Vance, Jenna Stevens, Cat Chaos, Jason Kelly, Mike, Brian Ashton, Michael Armenta, Jackass, The Wombat Preservationist. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, a.k.a. Aaron Chilb. Go check out his podcast, Nashville Tour Stop. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Orwell. Check out his work at P. Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official Hawaii Bigfoot Hunter is Jeremy Pascal. Our official resident Sagittarius is Kozanton. Our official Madman is Unbeliever Adam. Our official Mothman enthusiast is Michael Shields. Our official Unbelievers MUFON Inside Man is Chris DeMarais. Our official Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger is Michelle Durham. Our official Unbelievers Time Traveler is Taylor Nelson. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Childs and Ghost Hunting in New England. Our official Senior European Correspondent is Kay Mill of the I Don't Know podcast. Our official Guardian of that bench, that hurricane-stricken bench in Mississippi is that Kraken Stacker. Our official Alien Bopper is Nunchuck Bob. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is Warren Oakenshield on Instagram, who recently made a great piece of hodag artwork inspired by this program. You know, I was very curious about his process in creating an amazing piece like this, and then we had this exchange.
You know, a man can feel what a woman feels.
Oh, brother.
All right, good night. Show.
Discontinue. Discontinue.